Making headlines this hour. President urges all citizens to align their actions with and adhere to the teachings of the Holy Quran. The newly appointed non-resident ambassador of Maldives presents a letter of credence to the King of the Netherlands. Minister of Islamic Affairs says that the government is aiming to expand Awqaf investments to at least $6.5 million per year.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to PSM News in English. I'm your host Ahmad Imad and I'll be continuing with the details for the latest stories. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz urges all citizens to align their actions with and adhere to the teachings of the Holy Quran. Speaking at the Huffaz graduation ceremony at the Islamic Center, he emphasized the Quran's role as a practical guidebook rather than a text recited solely at official events.
The president stressed that restoring human dignity, which is currently eroding in society, requires integrating Quranic teachings into daily life. He urged people to avoid actions forbidden in the Quran, including defamation, division, and spreading falsehood. Highlighting the importance of the mutual respect for societal progress, he underscored Islam's emphasis on faith and protecting fellow Muslims from harm, whether through actions or words. He asserted that society would improve if individuals treated others with the same respect and dignity they expect for themselves. The president also reiterated that development is hollow unless grounded in faith and aligned with Quranic principles. During the ceremony, President Dr. Muiz affirmed that the administration's primary aim, policy and overarching goal is to increase the number of children in the country graduating as Huffaz through the initiatives to promote the teaching of the Holy Quran. In this regard, he announced that the government is working towards the construction of a Waqf building dedicated to Quranic education, a key initiative that will complement other similar efforts. He further stated that the land of the building has already been designated and that letters to the Ministry of Islamic Affairs regarding the matter will be offices reopen after the Eid al-Fitr holidays to the nation. He underscored that the expenditure on such a project is essential as it will serve a valuable investment in the intellectual and spiritual development of the country. The president also highlighted the ongoing efforts in this field and commended the Huffaz for their dedication and perseverance in reaching this significant milestone, congratulating them on their outstanding achievement.
The newly appointed non-resident ambassador of the Maldives to the Netherlands, Gila Ali, presents her letter of credence to the King of the Netherlands, Willem-Alexander. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Gila conveyed greetings and good wishes from President Dr. Mohammad Muiz to the government and the people of the Netherlands during the ceremony at the Noordeinde Palace in The Hague. Ambassador Gila also reassured the commitment of the government of the Maldives to enhance the bilateral ties between the two countries and to work together to foster closer collaboration in areas of common interest such as climate change, renewable energy and sustainable development. Ambassador Gila was accompanied by her spouse Abdullah Mushrif and the First Secretary at the Embassy of Maldives in Brussels, Mohammad Shafau Ibrahim. During her visit to The Hague, Ambassador Gila is also scheduled to meet with senior officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Netherlands. Gila is the Maldives' resident ambassador to Belgium and the European Union and will concurrently serve as the non-resident ambassador to the Netherlands. Minister of Islamic Affairs Dr. Muhammad Shaheen Ali Saeed says that the government is aiming to expand Awqaf investments to at least $6.5 million per year in a bid to minimize dependency on the state budget to implement projects.
Speaking at the Huffaz graduation ceremony at the Islamic Center, Minister Dr. Shaheen said under efforts to expand Awqaf investments, 2 major projects are set to be launched after the end of Ramadan, adding that financing has already been arranged through the country National Bank, Bank of Maldives, BML. Once these projects are completed, $778,210 will be deposited into the Islamic Waqf Fund every year till 2045, which he said will increase to $4.5 million a year from there on in. According to the minister, the aim is to expand the Waqf investments to at least $6.5 million per year by 2045 without relying on the state budget for the projects carried out by the Ministry of Islamic Affairs. In his speech, Minister Dr. Shaheen also revealed plans to expand the government's HIFZ program to all corners and the country under the special directive of President Dr. Mohammad Moizu. He said that the HIFZ program will be further expanded to every island with an Islamic center, while plans are underway to conduct the program in mosques in islands without an Islamic center. The minister also said the government plans to provide financial and other technical assistance to privately run Quran classes and other state agencies in the push to develop more Huffaz in the country. Through such wide-ranging efforts, the government is aiming to increase the number of children in the country graduating as Huffaz to 100 a year, he revealed.
Minister Dr. Ismail Shafiu affirms that the Ministry of Education has completed meticulous preparations to ensure the seamless inauguration of the 2025 academic year, securing all essential resources for students and educators alike. Scheduled to commence on 6 April, the upcoming academic term follows a period of extensive planning and execution, with the ministry working to ensure a smooth launch, addressing critical infrastructure and resource needs. In an interview with PSM News, Minister Shafiu underscored the ministry's dedication to facilitating an efficient transition into the academic year. Highlighting the breadth of this year's efforts, he detailed significant investments in school renovations and comprehensive resource planning. The minister noted a budget of approximately $972,000 was earmarked to support these initiatives, enabling schools to undertake essential upgrades. In addition to infrastructure improvements, Minister Shafiu stated that the ministry conducted a thorough audit to address staffing and supply requirements. He said textbooks and other critical supplies have also been distributed, ensuring classrooms are fully equipped to welcome students. The conclusion of the 2024-2025 academic year on 25th February marked the beginning of a holiday period coinciding with the holy month of Ramadan, infusing this year's break with a unique cultural dimension. Preparations for the forthcoming academic year align with recent updates to the school calendar. The ministry has scheduled the first term holidays to commence on 24th July, with the second term beginning on 10th August. The academic year is set to conclude on 28th December. The academic year's historic January start date, altered in 2021 due to disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, is on course to be reinstated by the current administration. The transition is set to culminate in January 2026, with the year-end break for 2025 extending from 28th December to 27th January. The national carrier Maldivian announces the launch of twice-weekly seaplane flights to Fuladu in Bah Atoll, commencing on 31st March. The service has been introduced to accommodate the anticipated surge in travel during the Eid al-Fitr holidays. The island of Fuladu, nestled in Bah Atoll, offers a tranquil retreat with a range of accommodation options and water sports activities that appeal to local tourists. The new flights, according to Maldivian, aim to improve access to the island along with nearby destinations for visitors during this festive season. Eid al-Fitr, marking the conclusion of Ramadan, is expected to fall on 31st March, according to the official calendar. Traditionally, this holiday, along with Eid al-Adha, prompts many residents living in Malé to journey to the outer islands for celebrations. To address the seasonal demand, Maldivian has consistently expanded its flight operations during these peak periods. The airline said flights to Fuladu will operate every Thursday and Saturday, complementing its broader network in Bah Atoll. The airline added that travelers headed to neighboring islands, including Fehendu and Goidu, are also expected to benefit from the new service. According to Maldivian, the 25-minute journey from Velana International Airport VIA to Fuladu provides an opportunity for passengers to experience the nation's scenic beauty from above. Tickets for the service are available through Maldivian's website or its 24-hour call center hotline at 1671. While the airline has previously operated seaplane flights to Fuladu, its fleet of 11 seaplanes is primarily used to transport foreign tourists to luxury resorts. The Maldives Marketing and Public Relations Corporation MMPRC announces the launch of a marketing campaign to strengthen the nation's position as a premier luxury travel destination in the United Kingdom. The initiative, slated to commence in April, will incorporate an extensive branding strategy featuring Maldives imagery across more than 100 taxis in London, as well as advertisements on buses, the London Underground, major airports and business class lounges. Designed in partnership with Liverpool Football Club (LFC), the campaign blends outdoor and digital advertising to capture the attention of UK audiences. Its objectives, according to the Maldives Top Tourism Promotion Board, extend beyond brand visibility with a focus on stimulating last-minute holiday bookings and encouraging early reservations for the festive season. MMPRC said the campaign, over its 3-month duration, is expected to reach approximately 76 million individuals. This strategic effort aligns seamlessly with Visit Maldives' overarching goal of solidifying its appeal among luxury travelers. The partnership with Liverpool FC, a club with a vast international following, is central to the initiative's global aspirations. Through the club's network of 316 official supporters clubs across more than 100 countries, MMPRC seeks to extend its reach to key markets in Europe, the Middle East, India and China. Projections from MMPRC suggest that this collaboration will attract an additional 100,000 visitors in 2025, contributing an estimated $200 million in tourism revenue. An investment of $2.5 million underpins this ambitious marketing push, according to the Tourism Promotion Board. MMPRC also anticipates an impressive annual return on investment, estimated at 20 times the initial expenditure. Beyond traditional advertising, MMPRC has said the initiative features dynamic activations, including appearances by Liverpool FC legends, immersive fan zones, joint events at global trade fairs, and interactive digital engagements designed to capture diverse audiences. Wall Street stocks end sharply lower, dragged down by losses in Nvidia and Tesla, as investors awaited information about long-promised U.S. tariffs on automotive imports.
U.S. President Donald Trump is set to announce plans for car industry tariffs at a press conference on March 26th, widening the global trade war he kicked off this year. Auto industry experts expect the move to drive up prices and steamy production. For weeks, Trump has promised to announce a swath of reciprocal tariffs on April 2nd.
Today, we had the durable goods order information first thing in the morning, and I think that certainly is one of the components of what's driving stocks today. There were mixed results, so I think stocks were up initially and then came back down. I also think that perhaps we're seeing a bit of a delayed reaction to the latest consumer confidence numbers, which it was surprising that there wasn't a bigger reaction when those numbers came out. So it might be just that we're seeing that today as well.
Shares of Tesla and General Motors both lost ground, with investors uncertain about the scale of tariffs, retaliatory measures from trading partners, and potential ripple effects on the global economy and businesses. Heavyweight chip makers Nvidia and Broadcom both fell sharply.
Just the volatility, the uncertainty, are we going to have tariffs? Are we not going to have tariffs? Is taking its toll. Tariffs are, expected to be inflationary. Inflation, we don't want to see inflation going up. But I would also point out that over the last few years, when inflation was higher than it had been prior to that, the markets actually did okay. It didn't seem like it was inflation itself that was the problem. But I think more recently, it's the uncertainty about that inflation. You can't plan. You don't know what to do if you don't know what's going to happen.
According to preliminary data, the S&P 500 lost 65.10 points or 1.13% to end at 5,711.55 points, while the Nasdaq Composite lost 372.84 points or 2.04% to 17,899.02. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 134.07 points or 0.31% to 42,444.02.
Yemen's Houthi-run media reports that U.S. forces carried out a series of airstrikes targeting Houthi-controlled areas around Yemen's capital, Sana'a, on March 26th.
Al Masirah TV reported that the strikes were concentrated in multiple locations north and south of the city. In the Sanan district south of Sana'a, the Jarban area was struck 8 times. To the north, 5 airstrikes targeted the Al Khadam and Jumaymah areas in Bani Hashish district. These regions are known for their rugged terrain and fortified military barracks. Additionally, the Dailami Air Base, situated north of Sana'a, was hit by 2 airstrikes. Thus far, no casualties have been reported. The U.S. military has ramped up airstrikes against the Houthis since March 15 in response to Houthi attacks on shipping routes in the Red Sea and the Bab al-Mandab Strait.
Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney says the country will soon respond to new tariffs on imported vehicles announced by U.S. President Donald Trump and could impose retaliatory measures against the United States.
Carney said Trump's move was a direct attack and told reporters he would be convening a high-level cabinet meeting to decide on a response.
We will defend our workers. We will defend our companies. We will defend our country. And we will defend it together.
The tariffs look set to damage the highly integrated North American auto industry. Canada has already announced a package of retaliatory tariffs totaling 155 billion Canadian dollars that it said would be imposed in stages depending on what Trump did.
It would be appropriate that the President and I speak, given the action that he's taken. I'm sure that will happen soon. I'm not going to give you a precise timing on that. In terms of options, which was the second part of Ms. Martin's question, even during a caretaker period of government, we have anticipated this possibility. We have put in place the mechanisms so that if it is appropriate for retaliatory tariffs, and there's many considerations to be taken in those regards, and I want to have the meeting of our cabinet, Canada-U.S. cabinet, other considerations. We need to see the details of the executive order.
Carney, who has already mused about non-tariff measures such as levying export duties on commodity exports to the United States, said it would be appropriate to speak to Trump soon. The two men have not spoken since Carney was sworn in as Prime Minister earlier this month. Carney said he had spoken to Ontario Premier Doug Ford, who earlier told reporters that we're going to make sure that we inflict as much pain as possible to the American people without inflicting pain on the Canadian population. Ontario, Canada's most populous province, is the home of the domestic auto industry.
Philippine wildcard Alexandra Ila pulls off the biggest win of her young career with a stunning 6-2, 7-5 upset of Polish world number 2 Iga Swiatek to extend her dream run at the Miami Open into the semifinals.
The big-hitting 19-year-old showed no signs of intimidation playing against one of her idols and was instead a picture of poise as she dismantled Swiatek's serve early on to grab control of the match and never looked back. Swiatek, who was playing the match with added security after being verbally abused by a spectator at the weekend, failed to hold serve throughout the first set while Ila was swinging freely as she unleashed winners from all over the court. 5-time Grand Slam champion Swiatek hit a staggering 19 unforced errors in the opening set and then received some advice from her coach before briefly leaving the court. In the second set, Ila managed to overturn a 4-2 deficit and then held her nerve, while Swiatek tried to serve out the set at 5-4 before ultimately closing it out with her 8th break of the match. For Ila, the victory over Swiatek marked the 3rd Grand Slam winner she had knocked out of the women's draw after earlier wins over Australian Open champion Madison Keys and 2017 French Open champion Jelena Ostapenko. Up next for Ila will be the winner of the day's other quarter-final between American 4th seed Jessica Pegula and 2021 US Open champion Emma Raducanu of Britain.
Driverless cars have been let loose on some of Britain's narrow country lanes, testing their systems on roads that often have no lane markings and a speed limit of up to 60 miles per hour.
The autonomous driving project, called Evolve AD, aims to turbocharge the UK's rollout of self-serving cars by demonstrating they can cope with a road network, parts of which date back to Roman times.
We started off being able to drive on motorways and then dual carriageways in cities, but the latest part is out, how do we get it to drive in country roads or, complex urban streets where you've got two-way traffic. So we've now managed to join a majority of the dots together, and we're definitely one step closer to being able to go towards a mobility service.
The demonstration car, a Nissan Leaf bristling with sensors and packed with electronics, drove a route several miles long on non-major roads, passing cars and trucks on the way, often at the speed limit.
There's 15 cameras on the car, there's 4 long-range LiDARs and 2 wide-angle LiDARs on the side of the car. They are all fused together in a data system to basically give the car a 360 view of everything in its surrounding, better than most humans would ever be able to achieve.
LiDARs uses lasers to produce three-dimensional images of a vehicle's surroundings to help navigation around obstacles. The sensors are a component of many self-driving systems that automakers are developing. But the Nissan's car's cameras are watching more than just the road and other vehicles. They can now use facial recognition technology to assess whether a pedestrian is about to become a hazard even before they do.
Together with the sensors and some of the software on the vehicle, we obviously want to really understand how can we anticipate risks around the vehicle. And of course, when you see pedestrians on the side of the road, part of the technology was actually trying to understand from people's facial recognition is what is their intention? Are they going to step out in front of the vehicle or not? Because obviously we need to make sure the car will behave in a safe manner.
Another development allows the cars to access CCTV cameras along its route, giving autonomous vehicles the ability to see around corners and change lanes to improve traffic flow. The Evolve AD project builds on the success of earlier ventures, Human Drive and Serve City, as part of Nissan's plan to see a future that's cleaner, safer, and more inclusive for all.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for tuning into PSM News. Wish you a pleasant day ahead.
ಬರಕಾತೆರೆ ರಮಲಾ ಮಹುಗೆ ಹೇ ಒಯ್ದುಮಾತ ಹುನಿಯಾ ಟಿವಿ ಬಲ್ಲವಾ ಲೋಬಿತ್ ರೈತುನಂ ಅರಿಸ್ಕುರಂ
PSM ಗೆ ಟಿವಿ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತಕ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತ ಮಿಹಾ